Okay. Next question that I get, this is a hot one, is how do we determine the brow shape? Now, I like to use several factors, but the main factor is your preference. How do you like your brows? What shape do you want? Do you have a dream shape? Do you desire to have a high arch and tail? Do you want your fronts to come in closer? Do you want your brow tail to be longer? Do you want a more fuller brow? I like to hear those things. Like, I want to hear your wish list. Like, tell me about your dream brow, right? So I could start creating. But also, I need to take into account your brow hair flow. I need to take into account your bone structure and your muscle pull, because your skin texture, your skin type, all your face shape, it's so many things. It's like a running checklist. So it's definitely a collaboration between you and I. So once you show me your dream brows, I start going into my toolkit and I start pulling out all types of like my brow mapping tools, and I start measuring. And I'm looking at how close your brows are to your bridge of your nose or to the inner corner of your eye. I'm paying attention to how one of your brows sits up higher and the other one is lower and more longer, right? And I'm creating a plan to balance out everything. I'm looking at your eyes. I'm seeing when you talk how the movement is in your face, like how much movement do you have and what brow goes up and what brow goes down, because these are things that we're going to address when we're correcting and building the new brow shape. And I'm also going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you if a shape is reasonable, and I'm going to tell you if something is not reasonable for you, because this is custom for you. It's not about a picture. So a picture is worth a million words, right? The picture that you bring in as your inspiration, or when you're coming in with your brows penciled in and the way that you wear them on a daily basis, it helps me out. Because if we're just talking, sometimes we're not going to meet, or we're going to misunderstand each other, right? I'm a professional brow artist and cosmetic tattooist. The terminology and the vocabulary that I would use to describe something is not the same that you as the customer are going to say. So that's why we need pictures to kind of help us meet in the middle. Even with your brow, if you come in with your brow penciled in, it helps me see the brow pencil color that you're used to. Helps me see how far in you bring in your brow, or how you bring your arch up. And it also helps me see what side of your face that you might have trouble with penciling in and making even. So all those things help us create the shape. So for the shaping process, I will utilize brow mapping, and it's going to take me maybe 30 to 45 minutes to get your shape. It could take me longer. It could take me a shorter period of time. It just depends. I'm not going to rush that process because that is so important. I will not start the tattooing process until you approve the shape. If you love the shape, that's when we'll go forward. I'm always open to suggestions. You could tell me if you want something tweaked. You could tell me if you want something longer or thicker, or you want your brows brought in closer. That's fine. This is a collaborative moment between you and I, because these are your brows. I cannot stress that enough. You have to be ecstatic, over the moon about them before we proceed with the tattooing process. And if the mapping process takes too long, or if you're just nervous and unsure, we don't have to continue the appointment. You can go home, you can think about it, and then you can reschedule at a later date.